Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. Today I'm focusing on my blueberries. I keep forgetting about them and it's early June now and I'm in the mood to propagate some new ones. I was an avid blueberry hater, full disclosure here. And oh gosh, 2 Christmases ago, my darling little niece came to visit me and I actually got to taste what great blueberries can actually taste like. To me, they were always mushy and tasteless and kind of disgusting, but her parents lavished her with these gorgeous organic blueberries, and that girl could eat them non-stop. And she was kind enough to share with me. And yeah, blueberries, wow! I've spent more years than I care to admit missing out on blueberry goodness. So that Christmas, they were very kind. They got me a gift certificate to one of my favorite gardening places, and well, I spent it all on blueberries. So I've got 8 plants in here, and despite my best efforts to kill them last year, yeah, I interplanted tomatoes, which I figured blueberries, they're an understory plant, and they should be fine with some shade. Well, needless to say, my blueberries this year are growing neighbor-free, and they're getting all the sunshine they need, and I'm a year behind now because they should have grown better last year, but they're at least still alive, so yay! So what I'm working on today is making some more blueberry plants for myself. I'm going to do some soft wood cuttings and do some propagation. I've got everything here that I need for it, and so let's go through that. Okay, the things I've determined that I need, because I've never done this before, you're going to learn along with me, okay? Number one, some good clean clippers. They should be sharp, they should be ready to go. Rubbing alcohol or something to disinfect, okay? You can make a weak bleach solution, but plan to be spraying these suckers down in between, because the last thing you want to do is sacrifice some good looking blueberry cuttings and kill them off with disease. Okay, so I'm prepared. I'm going to be squirting in between each cut. Okay, I've got some cups from my stash, and of course my handy dandy trusty blue tape and my Sharpie. I've got, I think, 5 different varieties, and my plan is just to do 6 cuttings, so I'm not going to go hog wild, but maybe that is hog wild, I don't know. Oh, and the other thing that I've learned that you need that'll make life easy, because I'm all about making life simple, rooting hormone. When you take the cutting, you dip it in, and then you put it into your growing medium. And of course, my growing medium, I'm a sucker for the coconut coir and some vermiculite, and it's sterile. Light, fluffy, it's easy to keep moist, and that's exactly what you want to do while those little blueberry cuttings are working on making some new roots and new plants for you. So let's go cut. All right, so this gorgeous blueberry plant here is my first victim, or I mean my first participant. This is a Chandler blueberry, and what I've learned is that you just want to take the, number one, you need to make sure it's still supple. Okay, so yes, we're definitely supple. This is new growth, and you just trim about 6 inches or so. So remember, clean clippers, and I'm just going to clip. Ouch, that kind of hurt. And you clean off the bottom portion of it. There's probably a better way to do this part, but that's what I've learned. Let's just clean it off, and then you just leave a little bit of the fresh green growth. I think I'll do one more. We'll leave it like that, and I'm going to dip this bottom portion into the rooting hormone. Maybe trim it up a little bit more. I don't know. Remember, I'm learning along with you. And we're going to get this portion wet. We're going to dip it into the rooting hormone and plant it in the growing medium. Okay, so let's get this little baby planted. We're going to get some of the planting medium, nice and damp. And this guy is going to get dipped into the rooting hormone. You know how difficult it is to find something that doesn't have holes in my garden to put water into? You'd think it'd be super easy to find my watering can, but it always wanders all over the garden. All right, so we're just going to dip that bottom portion in and shake it off, and into the pot you go. And then at this point, it is hope for the best. Very, very important. I've learned that you need to keep the whole pot fairly moist because they're going to take a little while to make those roots, and you want to make sure they don't wilt and die on you. So, don't do this right before you go on vacation. If that's something that you've got planned this summer, don't trust your neighbor. May or may not happen, depending on who your neighbor is. If they've got a great garden, you should be fine, but you'll know your neighbors best, or your children, or whatever. And there we go. And of course, don't forget to label which brand it is, or which variety it is, because some of them, I know I've got a mix of June fruiting, later blooming, early bloomers, so I definitely want to make sure that I keep track of what's what. And I will probably date this as well. June 6th, happy D-Day. And this is Chandler. All right, there we go. And I'm gonna go get the rest. So I'm still fairly new at this. What I've learned is to look for blueberries that are actively leafing out baby ones. I'm not real sure about this one yet. This is, well, unless I can find my tag easily. And nope, I buried it really, really well. I have no idea what this one is at the moment, but it's not as easy for me to decipher. So I'm just going to stick to my other ones because I feel better about those. And maybe I try something with this that is earlier in the year when it's obviously fruiting. I mean, when it's obviously getting ready to start leafing out. I already have fruit on it, so I know that it's one of my early fruiting ones. So I definitely want to get more of these. So I'll stick with the ones that are easy for me to do. And of course, remember to spray your clippers. I forgot. Bad me. So it's something I struggle with as well. So you're not going to be alone if you forget. I have my brand new blueberries. I'm so excited about this. I've got 6 total cuttings, 3 of the Chandler variety, which has no fruit on it yet, but they're definitely my go-getters out of my patch here. 3 Jubilees, which are the ones that I've discovered fruit on. And let me tell you, I'm going to be rolling in the blueberries this year. All 7 of those blueberries are going to make the most amazing little, nibble in the garden. So not a lot this year, but maybe next year. We'll see. So now that I've got these beautiful little cuttings, what do I do with them? Okay. What I've learned is that, number one, you've got to keep an eye on them because you definitely want these to stay moist and not dry up, because that would be really bad. These poor little babies have no roots. They've got no support system. So you need to give it to them by making sure that you keep the soil, the growing medium damp. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take them inside where I can keep an eye on them on a day-to-day basis. That makes it easy for me. And I'm just going to put them into my seed starting rack. Okay. I'm crazy. I've got 2 shelving systems set up in my dining room. It works for me, okay? Thank goodness the husband doesn't mind. But it's a rack system that I've got plenty of growing lights. I've got a heat mat if I need it, although I won't use it with these. And I've got fans. It's all on a timer system, so it's pretty easy. I just set it up, set the timer, it's good to go. So these babies will be underneath that. I'll probably keep the light at half power for right now. And all I have to do is check and make sure that it's still damp each day. It's important to have the fan over them. Number one, just to help them keep their strength, but to circulate that air makes it so that hopefully we don't get mold growing, which would be really bad. I don't know if damping off is a problem with cuttings, but you know what? I've just learned to always keep the fan on anything seedling or things that you're trying to propagate, because that is just easier. So we'll do that, and hopefully by, I don't know, maybe September or October, I've got some beautiful new blueberry bushes to plant out here and incorporate into my bed that I've got started already. In the worst case scenario, I've learned a valuable lesson how not to propagate blueberries. On the successful end of things, I maybe just saved $60. I know I've picked up a couple blueberry plants that were only $10, but you know, some blueberry plants, you can easily spend 15, 20, 30 or more dollars on a good, like a 2-year blueberry plant. So I could have just saved quite a bit of money from doing this little experiment. So we'll see. Stay tuned for updates. It won't be till the end of the year. It's June 6th right now. And Hopefully I've got some good news to report. And in the meanwhile, like the video. I hope it was informative for you. If you've got any suggestions, because you are a blueberry growing maven, I'd really like to know. This is my first full year of being good about taking care of my blueberry plants. Like I said, it's a learning experience. So if you've got some feedback or some advice, I would love to hear it. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you later.